So today on Ask the Oracle, our topic is spiritual codes for ascension and success with the stunning Sarah Lines. Join me in a soulful conversation with Sarah Lines, the visionary New Earth High Priestess and spiritual business mentor. As the founder of the globally celebrated New Earth School, Sarah has guided hundreds of heart-centered entrepreneurs towards spiritual ascension and financial abundance, co-authoring 9 best-selling books. And I've seen Sarah in action and she is incredible. So I'm super excited for today. Hi, Sarah. How are you, my love?
Hello, I'm so well. Thank you for having me.
It's so beautiful to have you here. We've got so many things in common and I really resonate with everything you do. So I'm super excited to dive deep into these questions with you, my love. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So the first question is, as a new Earth priestess, what does it mean to lead a spiritual, soulful business? And how does it kind of redefine traditional entrepreneurship
Mm,
as we know it? Yeah.
yes. And I live this question. So many spiritual women in business who are running spiritual businesses have been witnessing the shift in humanity and the codes that we're able to hold nowadays. And that means there's this deepening happening for us. So we're moving away from traditional marketing tactics, okay? And I've been witnessing this, especially over the last 12 months. Women are really coming back to themselves. What is my purpose? What do I want to share with the world? And what I've noticed is the deeper we drop into those codes, the true purpose codes, and share that authentically, it activates this beautiful divine compensation, and it just makes life and business so much easier. So there's no more of this proving energy, pushing energy. We're really coming back to who am I? What am I here to share? And it creates this beautiful energy of ease in
Oh,
a
how
nutshell.
wonderful. Yeah. So instead of the forcing, pushing,
Mm,
um, you know, you know, selling, it's more of a, I guess, more of a, I don't know, just an embodiment, I guess. Yeah.
it really is, and that's what we're learning about ascension. Is it's not necessarily out there in the ethers. It's embodying these energies in our temple, in our actual physical bodies.
Beautiful. Love
Yeah.
it. So you describe business as a living temple.
Mhm.
And we use the same language, my love, temple,
Oh,
priestess,
love it.
there's a good chance we were probably in, ancient sacred temples together. So you describe business as a living temple rather than a performance.
Mm.
How can soulful entrepreneurs embody this kind of sacred perspective? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and you know what? What I've come to learn for myself personally, it's really about coming back again to the trueness of you. How do I actually want to speak to my people today, to my audience today, versus what have I been told to say using certain marketing tactics, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because
And
it
they
is
don't
a
work
living
anyway,
temple.
do they?
No, they don't, especially for women who are on that ascension process, who are the light workers. It feels like sandpaper to the soul. And I've been able to witness some beautiful women who were really struggling with all of that. They'd learnt the what we call 3D ways of running a
Yeah.
business, and it just felt hard. So a part of what I love to share with them is it's giving themselves permission to say, okay, I actually want to speak about this today. I want to do it this way because this is my mission, which creates this energy of this living temple of your business. It's not just a thing to make money, right? We're all on
Yes.
these
Yeah.
beautiful pathways supporting others, which is helping in this collective ascension process.
So beautiful. So, I just feel that fulfillment, true
Mm.
fulfillment, is when you have that, you know, the higher purpose, you're being
Yes.
authentic to self, um, you're showing up and sharing what you really want to be showing without worrying about, you know, what we should be doing or what everyone else is doing necessarily. Or and I love that you said that it's a living, breathing, beautiful temple that you're creating. And yeah, it just feels so much softer
It
and so
does.
much more aligned to who we truly are. Do you believe that?
I really do. And look, I've been through many, many, many. I've invested a lot in myself over the years with business coaching and courses and programs. And there's a real harshness to that energy because we are different and we are here as light workers to lead others into a new way of doing things, you know, according to our own purpose and what we're here to share. And that is trailblazing the new way, showing people that we can have ease, we can lean back, there can be a softness, yet a power in the work that we do. It's
So
beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it, as you said, it's so much more flowy
it
and
is, isn't
fun
it?
anyway.
Yes,
You know, it's not
exactly.
like, you know, swimming upstream against the tide, against the current. It's like flowing with that beautiful river of
Yes,
life and enjoying the journey more anyway. So,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I've done over the years, I've done so many workshops and courses and
Hmm.
programs. And in my past life, I was in, you know, in sales. So I'd go to a lot of sales conferences and they'd be very male
Oh,
orientated and it would
yes.
be very like, you know, like rah rah. And, you know, you'd come away feeling, you know, on a high for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I just think, you know, that feminine way of doing things is
Mm.
just so much more open to receive as well. It's kind of like, you know, this beautiful kind of awakening or
Yeah.
opening. And here's the thing too, like, um, I think, you know, in some weird way, we've all been a little bit brainwashed into thinking that, you know, you have to work, you know, you have to work hard, you have to, you know,
Yeah.
show up and, you know, whatever it might be, you know, like, um, but in
Mm.
my experience, it's the complete opposite. As you said, it's like sandpaper on the soil. I love the way you
Exactly.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what people are beginning to realize, which is a whole part of this ascension process is we are remembering how powerful we actually are and we don't have to do it. We don't have to operate in that matrix 3D way of operating. Actually, we get to do it this way and it gets to feel good. And the more you feel good about it, the more open you are to receiving anyway. It's a beautiful process.
So beautiful. Love
Yeah.
it. So the planet is experiencing powerful energetic shifts at the moment.
Mm.
So, what cosmic codes are activating right now? I can't wait to ask you this one. And how can woven, you know, how can women integrate them kind of into their soul mission? You know, like
Mhm.
I know that you have a very good understanding of codes and shifts and activations, and how can we integrate this into our everyday? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, this is beautiful because I mentioned to Susie at the start, I said, I can't remember what we're going to be talking about, what questions I'm answering, but I had two beings come through. One, Mary Magdalene, one who I call Cosmo. He's my Sasquatch guide. He doesn't live on Earth, he lives on a star planet. And I said, what are you guys doing here? And Mary Magdalene was really wants the message to come through that, you know, we are the daughters and the sisters and the mothers with each other. So the new codes there are that, you know, women are realizing that we are more powerful together, how good it feels to support each other, and that we are the grail. We are the grail. We're remembering we are the powerful ones. We are the God, Goddess in human form. I'm getting chills. So they're the codes coming through from the beautiful Mary Magdalene. And then Cosmo, his message is really about it may seem counterintuitive, but the more we can lean back and really witness ourselves on this journey and begin to enjoy life. I mean, truly enjoy, okay, the home that I live in, or the land that I live on, or the people I have in my life. You begin to activate these happiness codes in true gratitude. When we activate these happiness codes, we receive more to be happy about. And the happier we are, the more we are enjoying this life as a human being, which is actually what this is truly about for us as a collective. It's enjoying this human experience.
Such a beautiful answer. Yes, everything has a code and a language. I love that you touched on Mary Magdalene. I think she's
Mm,
just the most magnificent, beautiful priestess guide.
yes.
And I always see her as that anchor, that beautiful anchor of, um, sacredness and
Mm, yes.
reverence and yes, and that beautiful true personification of the divine feminine. And then I love that you've got I can't even say it, a Sasquatch guide living on another planet.
Yeah.
That is so good.
They're awesome.
Yeah, so awesome. And happiness and gratitude. I mean, living in an attitude of gratitude.
Mm,
And of course, you're going to get more things to be grateful for when you're in that kind of energy, in that vibration.
yes.
It's a beautiful way to live. And I
Yes.
love that you touched on collaboration and co-creation as a women, because I
Yeah.
believe on the planet at the moment there is a powerful energetic shift
Yes.
towards true sisterhood, which isn't about
Yes. Oh,
comparison or competition. It's more about genuine connection. And it's we can kind of, I think it's important that we're sovereign beings, and we can go it alone, but at the same time,
yeah.
I think together everyone achieves
Mhm.
more. So
Mhm.
I love that you touched on that. Yeah,
Beautiful. Yes. Yes.
so beautiful.
Oh, it is. Just
Breathing into
feels
that.
good, doesn't it?
It does feel good. It does feel good. Um, what are some daily rituals or practices that help you personally
Mhm.
stay aligned and connected to your highest vision? Because I've noticed that
Mm.
you're a master manifester. I see you doing all these incredibly amazing things. So how do you stay grounded, rooted in love? And
Mm.
what daily rituals or practices really help you stay aligned and centered, my love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful question. So every morning I take my cuppa outside and I sit there and commune, whether it be with God, my angels, my guides, my star family, whoever I feel called to connect with. I ask God or Spirit, hey, what's your agenda for me today? And it's usually a simple answer like, you know, be in the now, or, go and be of service, go and bless others, those types of things. And you mentioned master manifestation. I did just want to touch on that. I'm really not attached to things. And I
Yes.
think it comes from my background in, losing everything through a nasty drug addiction. So I can really be okay with what I've got, even if nothing else came. But the beautiful
Yes.
thing about that is the things come because I don't have that attachment. Um, So really for me, it's about that mostly telepathic communion with the guides every morning. Okay, what's on for today?
I love that. I love that. Um, so beautiful. And attachment isn't love, is it? Like the power of detachment, right? Um, so, so wonderful. I love that.
Mm.
So when you don't have this kind of like crazy attachment to material things, and you truly are living in that beautiful attitude of gratitude. And the interesting thing is, like, yeah, you actually open the door to a steady flow of abundance kind of coming in, don't you? So, yeah, love that. I love a good morning ritual and I love a good evening ritual.
Yes.
Even if I just love sunrise and sunset, that's my
Mm.
time to get still and
Mm-hmm.
either meditate or do a full body prayer, or it
Beautiful.
can be 2 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, but it's just
Exactly.
something I do day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, yeah, so, so beautiful.
Mhm.
Now, you've written this gorgeous book. I know you've written 9 amazing best-selling books, but I'm so intrigued, and the timing is so perfect because is it true that you've just launched your new book, She Who Rose, as in the flower, not as in
Yeah,
rise, and
exactly.
it's all about women who are done playing it small.
Mhm.
So yeah, can you tell us about this book?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to,
Yes.
yes, yeah. What have you got to tell us about that?
Yes. And I love how this came through. It's my favorite book so far. It was just in a moment of okay, what does the world need? And it just came through as a download. Okay, it's going to be an archetypal book. There are 33 archetypes that all women can resonate with, I would say many. And they're archetypes that we've been playing out, like being unseen, or past life trauma creating manifestations in our current life for feeling unseen, unheard, not known. It's the people pleaser. It's the ghost that, yeah. So it's 33, and I love that number.
I love
And
33. That's my favorite number, by the way.
yes, it's
I was born
beautiful.
on the 3rd of the 3rd
Oh, love
under a
it.
dark moon. Yeah, I love
Oh,
3. Love threes. Everything's always threes.
gorgeous.
I even write in threes to the point where my editor goes, have you noticed that you have to write everything in threes? Maybe we should just rethink that. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love that vibe. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so every chapter is a transmission in a sense of the archetype, and that plays out as, okay, this is the wound. So you might be able to see yourself in that chapter's particular wound, but then
Yes.
there is the awakening, and it shows you this period of time that you might find yourself in as you are moving through that wound, and then it leads you into the rise. So each transmission is, it's the wound, then it's the awakening, then it's the rise, and then I've given the ladies some embodiment prompts and activations, which is soul speak. So speaking to your soul to move the energy even more.
How amazing. I actually love that, to me, that's true alchemy right there. I
Yes.
don't know. You might
Yeah.
call it something different,
True.
but,
It's true.
from pain to peace,
Yes.
um,
Oh, love that.
and that you're actually, doing, I don't like to
Mm.
say doing the work, but kind of, right? Like it's not just a light and fluffy book. It's like,
Yes.
you know, are you ready to no longer play it small?
Yeah.
Are you ready to rise,
Yes.
so beautiful. I can't wait to get the book. It really
Awesome.
resonates and calls to my soul. So super
Oh, so
excited to
glad.
get that. This is a really big question. Many spiritual women really struggle with visibility, receiving abundance, and embracing success.
Mm.
So, what do you reckon the key myths are that need to be released in regards to this?
Hmm. For many, I think, honestly, there is this, and it's a matrix programming that I've got a block, therefore I'm blocked, right?
Yeah, right. Yes, that word block. I said, can we use a different word?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And I witness a lot of women using those words, creating those spells, saying, I'm blocked here. And it's just that's actually creating the block. And I've proved it myself that you can rise as a leader, even while feeling doubt, even while having past traumas, past life traumas, right? It really is that shift in perspective. For many women, we touched on it, we're leaving this paradigm of real comparing ourselves, and we're coming back into this space of, actually, I get to do this my way. I get to have success my way. So this energy is shifting, and we're coming back into our power in that sense. But I'd say the core of it, honestly, is the mentality that I've got a block, so I'm blocked.
Oh, it's the negative mantra.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
We talk about positive affirmations, but how about those negative mantras of, I've got a block. I'm really
Mhm.
blocked. Well,
Mhm.
all you're doing is cementing and
Yes.
anchoring the block. So every time you say it, that neural pathway in your brain is just getting, the highway's getting bigger and bigger every time you
Exactly.
say it, right? So I think it's
Exactly.
good to acknowledge that there's something going on, but
Absolutely.
perhaps so that um, you can alchemize it, you can do the
Yes.
reframing. But in saying that, I think I so love that you touched on this because, like, you've got to remember that affirmations can be negative and so reinforcing. Like, my
Mhm.
goodness me, yeah, perhaps there is something going on, and that's okay to kind of, acknowledge that because we don't want to bypass anything or,
Exactly.
but in saying that, yeah, I just think, why not, thoughts, feelings, and words become things. So why not be a bit more mindful about, those negative mantras as well? Yeah,
Exactly. It's all, we
exactly.
can either create good positive spells or spells that do not serve at all. And we can move through resistance without creating those deeper blocks because, our ego is listening to everything we take on consciously or unconsciously as truth.
That's it. And, apparently, I don't know, do you believe this, that the unconscious doesn't know the difference between negative or positive? So,
Mhm.
if you're saying something to be true to you, it's just true to you. It's
Yes.
it's um it's manifesting more of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so super powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And you know, I guess, like, abundance mindset stuff too, and embracing success. Do you believe that um look, I don't want to get into the whole gender thing, but
Mhm.
you and I both work with a lot of women. So,
Yes.
do you believe that, there is that kind of still that mindset around, money being evil, or, if you're successful, that somehow, I don't know, you're being self-absorbed or whatever it
Yeah.
might be. What's your take on that?
Absolutely. And again, I think these are matrix programming that have been around for a long time uh since the divine feminine was suppressed. I'll put it like that. So
That's a kind word, yes.
yes.
Yes. Oh,
Exactly.
exactly.
But
But that's
again,
exactly what it was, yes.
yeah, exactly. That's all it really was, but it's played out through generations and generations. But again, it's shifting. You can feel it. People are beginning to see through it.
Yeah, they are. I think, people are beginning to see through the smoke and
Yeah.
mirrors. Um, I think it's so good to be discerning
Mm,
and to make up your own mind about things and
yes.
not go down that spiral, that rabbit hole of, the fear paradigm that keeps us separate.
Mm,
I don't know, like, it's so interesting because I think I'd love your take on this, because I think it's important to be aware and to be an advocate and have a voice for, the vulnerable, or, important causes like that. But at the same time, we don't want to
mm,
feed that dark energy of, like, fear or, doom and gloom, or, what's your take on that, Sarah?
yeah, I agree. And it's something I heard a long time ago was when I first stopped watching most things on the telly. It was I can still love the planet. I can love from afar without getting caught in it. And the way spirit actually showed me this energy recently was it's like we are these lighthouses, beaming our light out to the world, and off in the distance out past the shore, maybe there was a shipwreck. What some people do is leave their lighthouse standing point there where everyone they were serving everyone to go and help the shipwreck.
Oh my goodness, what a good analogy.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I love it. Don't leave the lighthouse.
Yes.
Don't go to the shipwreck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that ship, it's going to get the support it needs. There's going to be, the
Yeah.
Coast Guard's coming.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I know, like, and it's really interesting because, like, it's so tempting to, go down that spiral of, collective sabotage or collective,
Yeah.
because I think,
Yeah.
sometimes we have that morbid fascination of what's really going on there.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to, yeah, as you said, be that light bearer.
Yes.
If we all start feeding that, that kind of like, oh my goodness, it's hopeless.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're just going to get like more hopelessness
Yeah.
type thing.
Yes. It's true.
It's true, isn't it?
True. It's
Yeah.
how the energy, it's how energy works. Yeah.
I do struggle sometimes though with like, um, you know, being being an advocate and speaking up and standing in my truth and all of that, but at the same time, yeah, not adding to the collective hysteria. Do you
Mhm.
like? I often think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's on this micro scale, which equals the macro scale.
Yes.
I can witness people struggling, and it can be really hard for me to keep a boundary between that, or just not unconsciously take it on. I so naturally take on the energies of the world.
Yes. There you go. That's
So
a good
that's a
point.
constant process for me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Being that sponge, you
Yes.
know, um, and being intuitive, we don't miss much, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think, discernment is a really good thing.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, I don't know, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed about you that you do sit in that observation. You are
Very
that
much.
observer. Is that true? Do you kind
Yeah,
of,
very much the observer, the watcher, the witnesser. Yes.
yes. And I think when you're the observer too, in some ways it's more neutral and more
Mhm.
balanced and more
Mhm.
grounded, and you're not getting caught up in it type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's truth. Yeah.
Really, really beautiful.
Mm.
Love that so much. Now, I pulled a card for us before we came on today, and you can't make this up. This card for you is from the Oracle of Delphi,
Oh,
and I thought the Oracle of Delphi was so appropriate for you and for us because we are an earthborn, living, breathing priestess, um, and
wow.
it's the Alchemist card. And
Wow.
I love that your new book's called She Who Rose, because we've got the
Oh
most
my God.
stunning white
Yes.
rose at the bottom of this art, and it's in
Oh,
full bloom. And then, of course, you've got the catechus, which is the beautiful two serpents
oh,
up,
that's,
that
yeah.
healing wand. And the words are change, refract, infuse, and transmute.
That's awesome.
And I've actually experienced you doing your beautiful light language. I can't remember where that was. It might have been online. So I know that you do a lot of that kind of work too, don't you?
Yes, I
That
do.
real true alchemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Oh, that is gorgeous. And
So
that
what do
is
you
perfect.
see when you look into that card, Sarah? What comes through for you?
For me, I see this and it feels collective. It's a reweaving of the energies and the keys and the codes. So it's like there is energy being released from us individually and collectively, and then we've got these beautiful new energies also coming through for everyone to support this process.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's exactly it. Your words, your poetic words are so beautiful. I love that you shared that. Yeah, it's that beautiful white rose, which
Yes.
is for me, the reframing of, perceived pain into peace, um,
Yes. Oh,
the alchemist and the beautiful kind of rainbows, the beautiful light
mm,
codes coming in as well. It's a really, really powerful card.
it
It's
is.
also very validating that, there is a paradigm shift happening on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly, the sacred feminine is rising, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and but yeah, the white rose kind of really stood out for me for our chat today. because I really kind of feel it's about, detoxing, the mind, the thoughts, the heart, the feeling, the body, the spirit,
It's beautiful.
and reframing like you've done in your beautiful book, where it's like, you know, turning the woundings, consciously turning those woundings into beautiful blessings. Yeah. Loving that card
Exactly.
for our chat.
Beautiful. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's gorgeous.
Thank you,
Oh,
my love. So, how can our beautiful listeners find you? We have all of your links in the show notes, but I have a feeling that this audience is going to be on the lookout for you. So, how can we find you, my love?
so the easiest way to find me would either be to go to my website, newearthschool.com.au, or you can find me on Facebook. That's where I'm most active, and that's at Soulful Sarah Lines.
Beautiful, and I noticed you've got a YouTube channel as well,
I do.
and I absolutely resonate with your work, and I'm so grateful for you coming on today. Thank you so,
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing your wisdom. And I look forward to chatting to you in the future, my love. Bye for
Thank
now.
you so much.